Hi
Hi,
guys,
guys.
my name is William.
And I'm Fema.
Welcome to our home.
This is not a test.
So we are so excited that today you have joined us. Maybe we have new people that have joined us, but we want to encourage you to be able to subscribe and hit that notification button so that you can get the videos immediately when we premiere them. But other than that, today we are also excited because the topic is curtain call. And curtain call, we are simply saying, who are you when all this charade of meeting people and, going around for lunches and, going to friends' house, visiting people, after all that charade, who are you, and it's important for you to be able to know your spouse, to know what he or she likes, how far they would go for you, where they come from, what they did, what inspired their decisions. So curtain call is all about that. In a theater, when the curtain comes down, people stop acting and they start being themselves. So we want to be able to, to encourage you to be able to know your spouse. So for an icebreaker for the topic, we designed a DIY, do it yourself, DIY. So that cards, so that we can be able to, ask each other questions. But this game, this icebreaker, we call it why would you? Why would you? So it's not like I have done those things or she has done those things, but it's simply, trying to see what's in his mind, or what's in my mind and what's in her mind regarding the question. For instance, why would you do this? And I would have to answer, I would do this because I would be inspired by that. So basically it's that. So I would start by taking cards. She would come take a card, so forth until we're done. We have 8 cards. So in this couple of minutes, we want to be able to start with this icebreaker and hit the point. We want to encourage you guys also to do these icebreakers, Sit down with your wife, sit down with your, as you can see, we are on the floor. Sit down with your wife or husband and, just do these icebreakers at home and see what's in the mind of your husband or your wife and get to know them better. Ne?
Yeah. And a footnote, we haven't played or, done this game ever. So probably we've asked these questions before, but not in this way.
Yeah. Every time when we make a video or come up with a content or concept, we just, come up with a game. If it's there and it's existing already, copyrights, we understand. But we just thought about this game and want to be able to play it. So I think my wife should start.
Okay. Why would you not trust me?
Why would I not trust you? Okay, personally, growing up, I think I faced a lot of rejection. So I think trusting for me, it's something that has to be earned, So you would have to earn my trust. But we married, so I think I trust you already. Yeah,
you do?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. Yeah. Why would you be insecure?
Insecurity. Well, for me, I'm not one to be insecure. Mainly because I don't know. From my upbringing and everything, I've learned to affirm myself, and because of that, I wouldn't say that I would normally have some insecurities. And even in my my past relationships, I never used to dwell more on what the other person thought of me. So it was more of, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with your weight, for instance? Are you happy with the job that you're doing? Are you happy, So if I'm happy with those things, if I'm content with those particular things, then no. With
wouldn't be
regards to
insecure.
to be insecure, no.
Okay. Cut.
Okay. Why would you divorce me?
Why would I divorce? Okay. I think, in a general sense, ne? I wouldn't divorce, but to answer the question, I would divorce because I would have found someone else, someone younger.
Huh?
That's what we do. It's in our blood as men. But I think I would divorce because of that. Finding a young piece, yeah. but really, I'm not a divorcing. We made a decision that we are not gonna be divorcing or gonna be talking about it. But it made it in the card. So someone, yeah, ne? So, what would you regret?
What would I regret? Oh, I hate failing. It's my biggest fear. Failure. It's that's my deepest and greatest fear, to fail. So I would regret if we would fail, like if we would reach a point where we would divorce, or we would reach a point where something doesn't work out. Like maybe we still, like after 10 years there's no financial growth. After 10 years there's no that house that we wanted. After 10 years there's no growth. Like I would regret that, or hey kanti kana identity mo mathateng amabayana king ibhadi yaka ekana, so I would regret that. I would regret failing in life.
Okay.
Whatever thing.
These are tough questions, yeah.
Okay. Why would you compare me?
I don't know. I think as men we have a weakness of comparing our spouse and other women. We look at what how another lady looks like and what they dress and how she presents herself, and we get attracted to that. I think to answer that question, I never compared you, but I would compare due to looks, because I feel that when I got married to you, you were a full package, ne? Intelligent, wisdom, beautiful. So the only thing that it's on the list for me to, like, I wouldn't compare you in totality and say that comparing you with that other woman and so forth, it won't work out for me. But then if I think, like, as a man, I would compare due to looks. Ne? Due to looks. Yeah. I think guys would agree with me. We would compare due to looks, and once we get in a relationship with that lady, we would realize that what I had was perfect. That's the thing about divorce, for instance, that you get married, you love your wife, you love your husband, but one day, you divorce, you get into a relationship with someone else, and you get married, and you realize, wait a minute, I had it good. She loved me, she respected me, she was everything that I ever dreamed of. So yeah, I think that's what we do as men. We compare you to looks. We use looks.
Don't generalize. What?
I wouldn't.
Why would you compare?
I wouldn't compare. I wouldn't compare.
Don't say that.
Hey, I don't want to get into trouble. So
okay.
Why would you cheat?
Why would I cheat? So I don't know what would push me to that, you know. I think, you know, when I was growing up, what was easier is that when you no longer feel like you want to be in that relationship, I would just simply end the relationship. If like I can
Makes
say,
sense.
Hore, I want to move on to the next person, I would easily just say, okay, fine, that means this is not going to work out. Then I would simply, you know, move on with my life. But now that I can't simply move on with my life, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I would, you know, be tempted to cheat or cheat, because right now I'm married and, you know, there's no going back, or there's no coming out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so because of that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would cheat, because I think it's not me, it's not been my personality, so why start now?
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't think I would cheat.
Alright.
Oh, okay. Yes. Why would you lie? Why would you lie? Why would
It's
you
in
lie?
our
Why
nature
would
as
you
men to lie. Guys, we are gifted with this thing. You
Why
know,
would you lie?
we need to be able to do it and be proud. No, I think for me, it depends on the kind of lie. I wouldn't lie with other things. Ne? But there are some lies whereby you're trying to protect your spouse, you know. I don't know if people understand me. I know some men understand me, ne? But sometimes you would just, we call it a white lie, just to protect, you know, so that they don't get to be hurt or angry and we fight. One thing that we don't like as men is that we like people, like women are expressive and we are logical and we hold things ka mohara dipelo tsa rona, and they speak, you know, and we would lie so that we can ignore the fight, you know. Like I wouldn't tell her that I just found out that I have a son who is 13 years old. I would just keep quiet until he's 30, and I would tell her, by the way, yeah, we have a son, he's getting married, you know. So yeah, there are some other lies I wouldn't lie. I would lie to protect, not to cause harm, you know. Yeah, to protect. So the last card, hey,
And it's so funny.
it's the same. I know you can't see it, but it's the same. Would you ever divorce?
Yeah, I think that when we
Thank
wrote
God
down
I was.
the
Yeah,
questions,
yeah. Ne?
Yeah.
I just thank God that it came back, and it's on her now to answer the question, because yeah, it was weird for me. Yeah.
would I ever divorce? You know, I used to say to you, like, in between, like when we just got engaged to just shortly when we were about to get married, I always told myself that if he were to cheat, I would divorce him. No questions, no, you know, like I would just divorce him. But then my mentality started changing when I started realizing that, you know, it's not that easy. Mainly because you start, you know, falling in love, deeper in love with the person. You start knowing the person, you know, you start being comfortable with the person, and, you know, the connection, the love, you know, grows deeper. And I started also thinking that you start having even a family with this person.
Yeah.
You know, so I start having a family with my husband now. You know, there's growth, there's everything, and then I don't think it would be easy then
to start over.
Yeah, to start over.
Yeah.
Then I thought.
I think it's the
You know,
it's the fear that a lot of people have.
Yeah. So for that, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But
I think it's the fear that a lot of people have
Yeah.
in this topic of divorce.
Yeah.
That I would hate to start over. So if I would hate to start over, why not make it work? You know, why not love my wife? Whether there's money or there's no money, why not respect your wife? You know, why not have a family? And I don't know. Those are the things that, you know, come in my mind when I look at people that are divorcing. You know, you say that, okay, something went wrong, things didn't work out. But if you sit down and talk about it, you'd find that the person who has a problem is you. You know, you failed to make it work. Not that it's a job, but you failed to make it work. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what came in your mind when you were listening to these questions and answers, how vague we were, how general we were, you know, but I think one of the things that we want you to understand is that it's important for you to get to know your spouse or the person that you want to get married to. It's important. If you are in a relationship with someone and you are, you know, you are in a verge of getting married, or you are married already, or you know, you are testing out to see if this person can be the correct person for you, I think it's important for you to go out and sit down and start asking questions. Guys, I don't know about you, but one of the things, okay, let me start here. One of the things that got to me is the regret part. When she spoke about, when I asked her, what would you regret? And she started talking. The answer got to me, you know, possibilities are there that in life we might fail. But then if you trace back, you know, you would see that actually your failure might be influenced by your past. You know, so it's important for you to be able to sit down with the person that you want to get married to, or your spouse, or the person that you're testing grounds with, to be able to, you know, and ask questions, to be able to understand, who is this person? What's happening in his mind? What does he think about marriage? What does he think about divorce? What does he think about having kids? What does he think about working and not working? What does he think about religion, church? You know, is there some common ground? You know, I feel that in our relationship there should be a common ground. In our relationship, our common ground is God. You know, that's our common ground. And if you have a common ground along with your spouse, if you have a common ground, I think you will be able to understand a bit of who this person is, what they believe, you know?
And during this process, it's very important for you to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I can't stress the importance of being honest. You know, when you have your partner, that's the only person that you can be totally naked to. And when I'm making reference to being totally naked to, I mean that that's the only person that you can just express all honesty. You need to be honest with your spouse.
Yeah.
And sometimes we fail to be honest with each other because, like he said, like those white lies, I understand those, but there are some things that you cannot make them white lies. You know, you can't make your background white lies, like, because those things that they make you who you are.
Basically,
like if you know that before you were a cheater, a player, like that's, and you were abusive, if you know all those things, possibilities are that you will bring them in your marriage. And now, because you are bringing them into your marriage, if your spouse doesn't know that you had those tendencies, or that's the person that you used to be, then it's going to bring a lot of confusion to the relationship. It's going to bring a lot of fights and misunderstanding. So it's very important for us to be naked before our partners. Be honest. You know, it's not like the questions that we ask each other, it's not to test you. It's not to say, okay, that's a right answer. No, that's wrong. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't answer like this. You should answer like that. No, it's not like that. It's for you to get to know them. And when your partner is being honest with you, it's very important for you to react correctly.
One of the things that I've heard is that nobody gets married to get divorced. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says that I want to get married, then get divorced. It's, you know, it would be a waste of money. But I'm learning as time goes on that it's important for you to be open. And I know that we, especially as men, we don't want to be judged. We hate being judged. We don't want someone to call me out on what I did in the past. You know, it's not building, it's actually destroying. I don't want to tell you today that a couple of years ago I had sex with someone who had HIV. Thank God I'm not HIV positive. And when we have a fight, you say, yeah, Vele, you had sex with that lady who has HIV. We don't want that. We don't want to go through that. So the whole purpose of being naked and open and vulnerable is not to be judged, but to say that, hey, I'm actually trusting you with all that I am. I'm trusting you with my past. I'm trusting you with my present, and hopefully we'll be able to build our future together. And you know, that's the purpose of going out on a date. Going out on a date doesn't mean that I'm going to chow somebody else's money, you know, but it actually means that I have an opportunity to ask you questions. You know, ask you, where do you come from? You know, what is it that your father does? You know, does he even love you? Does he support you? You know, and when things are, the answers are not according to the second party's, you know, expectations, perhaps you can separate. You know, you didn't waste money when it comes to marriage, yes, but at the end of the day, I want you to understand that that separation was good for you. Perhaps there's someone else who'd be able to understand you and build you up as a man, and build you up as a wife, and build you up as a potential somebody in life. No?
And you know, I remember, do you remember that time we had like a long conversation? And I remember it was something about background. And you know, we shared about each other's background. And I don't
we
remember.
Do that a lot,
I don't remember what was. No, I'm.
You're reflecting on a memory.
I'm reflecting basically on that particular moment, because that time we were still in preparation to getting married, and I loved that because I remember that we became so naked with each other, you know. And we started talking about, you know, growing up, what happened to you when you were growing up, what messed up with your mind. Because there are certain things that messes up with our minds, and you can see that this particular thing is catching up with you. You know, the fact that probably you lost, like with me, the fact that I lost my father at a very young age, I got to see how that messed me up, you know. But I also got to see what also saved me from that, you know, that okay, I lost my father at a tender age, and this is how it has affected me. And you know, you get to see how it affects you even in your marriage. So those kind of things, they are very important. Yes, you stayed with your mother and father, and you grew up with them, but there are certain things that happen within our
that
families,
you
know, that you see, Guti, yes, we are together as a family, but it's like we are not a family, you know. And those kind of things can get to mess you up. and you need to deal with them. You need to tell your spouse about those particular things, because sooner or later they catch up. When those particular things get to catch up with you in marriage, you get to see that, okay, actually, sometimes, the fights are not really
about your spouse.
Yeah, they are not really about my spouse. And I can make an example, like on Sunday, when we were catching a taxi, and then the taxi dropped us where it was not supposed to drop us. And now I started blaming my husband, but then when I started reflecting, I started understanding that, what, I'm expecting I remember I used to, remember I told you guys when it came to expectations, that my father was someone who would defend you right there and then. My father, would kick someone right there and then. And, so because I saw that, and because I grew up in that, and because I know my father of being that kind of person, I expect that from my husband. And I started asking myself, so is my husband like that? And even if he's like that, should he be like that? Why should my husband be like my father? So those kind of things, they get to us.
It's not only that. I'm sorry to disturb you, but
yeah.
It's not only that. Like for instance, the loss of your parent, it may affect you to a point, Yahore, you would, family planning, the number of kids that you want, the type of husband that you want, the money that you want in the household, and so forth. You plan all those things according to what you have seen happening in your home. And that's really dangerous, because now the person that you're getting married to might be totally different. So now you have to be open enough to that person and say that, hey, the reason why I'm like this is because I lost my father, and I had to. Sometimes you get married to a woman who's like a man because they've lost their father, and now she had to step up and become sort of like a man in the household. I don't know if you understand me. Or you find a person who just passed on in the family, and someone has to step into that person's shoes, and automatically they become like that. They build their lives like that. They have different expectations. Already, you're getting married to someone who was married to his mother. My wife has to cook the way my mother used to cook. We have to use money the way my mother used to use money in the household. Because when my father passed on, my father's alive, when my father passed on, I stepped in and became a man at a very young age at home, and automatically I became my mother's husband. And when I get married, I'm expecting my wife to do things. So it's important for you guys basically to talk about who you were, who you are, and who you are becoming. That's why we spoke about expectations, because you need to be able to sit down and say, this is who I am. And what shaped me to become like this, it's the experience that I've had. Some of us don't understand. I was watching Siya Kolisi, and I had the question that other black women had, that when they're black women, why did he get married to a black woman? Until someone told me his story, and I was like, oh, now I understand. So sometimes it's important for you to be able to sit down, go on a date, sit down and have a conversation with your potential spouse, or have a conversation with your spouse, and then you'll begin to understand, oh, that's why my wife thinks like this. That's why my husband does things like this. That's why my husband doesn't like gardening. That's why my wife speaks like a man, because of the experience that they've had. So it's important for you guys to be able to have a conversation about your past, present, and future. And I said this just in passing, that we talk a lot about who we were, our experiences. Would be taking a bath and I'd be telling, my dad used to do this. You know, and in some other memories, she would tell me, oh, no, you need to forget about that, let it go. But, you know, those are the things that shape us, you know, and I would remember that. And sometimes I would get furious. Now, let's say we're fighting and I get furious. I choose to keep quiet. Why? Because I know what men used to do. Okay, what my father used to do when he got angry. You know, what other men used to do. So maybe keeping quiet will save me from becoming like other people, you know, and maybe it will help me understand where she comes from, you know. And yeah, so basically what we're trying to encourage you to do is to sit down with your spouse and have a conversation. Who are you? Who are you? How did you get here? You know, how did you become so successful? You know, why do you spend money the way you do? You know, so, and then you will get to understand who they are.
Yeah.
So.
And when you get to understand who they are, always remember, don't use it as a defense.
It's a weapon.
Yeah, as a weapon.
Yeah.
The other person might use it as a weapon. The other person might use it to defend themselves. Remember, this is no. Oh, like, yeah. I know this is what happened. I know that's like why you are acting the way you're acting, but it's not an excuse. If it's a bad habit, it's not an excuse to keep it, because you know it comes from your past.
Yeah.
And if like your partner is using it as a weapon, yes, that's why you're like this, because you grew up like this. That's
Papa, how?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you are just like him, you know. So please, guys, let's be sensitive with those kind of things, because they really are deep things, and you need to cherish your partner for being able to be so open with you, because
And becoming.
some people choose not to disclose such things.
And becoming, because now you need to be able to honor and praise your spouse, because every day they learn something about you and they adapt to your character and the persona that you are. Yeah, well, so you need to be able to praise them, just honor them. If they're sitting there, honor them. Just say, love, I love you, man. Thank you so much for being the person that you are.
So
Thank
why are you looking
know?
there?
Yeah, I'm telling them as well. How?
So you must thank me. Why are you
Thank
thanking
you,
the
love.
camera?
Thank you. So, yeah, you need to do that. Just praise your wives and thank God for them as well. So, guys, that's all that we have for you today.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We really love you guys, and thank you for your support. So remember to comment. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Yes. We want to read comments next week. So please comment, say something. What did you do to honor your spouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do to honor your spouse? Yeah.
What did you disclose to them?
Yeah, what did you disclose? You know, tell us.
How naked were you?
How? Yes. And don't send us pictures. We don't want that one. We want you to tell us. What did you say? Guys, be blessed and enjoy your week.
Thank you.